Hey guys, in the last video on this channel we talked about the anonymous emails coming from small and big companies in response to our questions and our own emails. So we send company an email, one comes back, and then at the bottom it'll say thank you very much from the support customer indulgence and cut and paste team or something, so it won't have a person's name on there. And that video actually triggered a few responses, including a couple of people that mentioned the FAQ responses, and it's really true. So we'll write an email with some very specific problems or some very specific questions about a particular topic, and we spend lots of time writing it all out and explaining exactly what the situation is, and we send it off to the company, and it comes back with dear customer, dear valued customer, or if we're really lucky it might say our name, dear Bob, and then it'll have quite clearly a cut and paste from some FAQ, and it might be the public FAQ that they have on their website, and you can see for yourself. You look at what they've sent you and you look at their FAQ, oh here it is. So they basically cut and pasted from their FAQ and sent it to you. And I think also there'd be a lot of companies have their own FAQ. So in other words, they've got the public FAQ that's on their website for everybody to see, the frequently asked questions for everybody to see, and then I suspect that a lot of these people that sit in front of the computer screen sending these answers probably have their own list that they've been given. And here is what you're allowed to say. Here are the answers that you're allowed to give. And then it would seem that they just scan the email for certain words and phrases and then cut and paste a couple of the phrases into an email and send it back to you. And I'm sure occasionally they actually manage to get the answer right and somebody goes, oh, that's good, and then they feel very good. Oh, they got this answer from the cut and paste support internet customer group or something. Oh, fabulous, thank you very much. Problem solved, game over. Probably some other people give up. The answer probably comes for some people the answer probably comes and it's helpful. For some people the answer probably comes and has nothing to do with the question at all, and they go, ah, screw it, and they give up. For other people who will then, sometimes we no, that hasn't answered my question at all. So we write another email explaining, no, look, I already seen all that on your FAQ. No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you about this. I need to know the answer to this. And you send it back, and then comes back with another cut and paste. And it's quite obvious, if you've dealt with the big companies, that you'll see this. It's quite obvious that they're not allowed. And I've seen this a number of times where I've known some information, happened a couple of times with YouTube, but it's happened with other big companies as well, where I'll get some information and I'll ask them a specific question. I have heard this is happening. Is it true? And it just comes back with a cut and paste. And I think it's quite obvious that these staff, and nothing against the staff, they're just doing a job, but it's quite obvious that these big companies tell these employees that they're not allowed to say anything except what's in their list of approved answers. It's quite obvious. And of course these days, with liability being a big issue and big companies being worried about being sued and everything else, it's their safest solution, isn't it? That, if you give the staff a big list of answers and say these are the only answers you're allowed to give customers, then they've covered themselves, because obviously their legal departments run through all these answers and said yes, they're all fine, and then they say to the staff, don't say anything else except what's on this list. And that's what they do. That's what they do. Seen this a few times with YouTube, our YouTube contacts in Tokyo. Seen that a few times over the years where we've asked specific questions and they just come back with these FAQs, and it's like, and I've actually said to them, that's obviously a cut and paste from your FAQ, that's not answering my question, what about this? And they'll just come back with another cut and paste. So it's frustrating, isn't it? I can actually see the day, I'm sure Google probably have the technology already, if they're not already using it, for the letter to be scanned by their system, for your email to be scanned from their system. So we write an email, we send it to Google or we send it to some other company, and their system scans through it and finds different words and phrases and then automatically sends back the FAQ answer. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's happening already. You know, so a lot of the responses, I think you guys will relate to this as well. A lot of the responses that you get have nothing to do with the email that you sent. Nothing at all. And don't address anything specific to us. It's all general answer. You know, and either if it's not a computer doing it, then it's just some simple person at the other end who's just not even thinking, just scanning it for words and phrases and then click, 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 next, click, 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 next, and not even thinking about it. So it sucks. I think it sucks. And I've actually seen, when we've discussed topics like this before, I've seen people defend it, and makes you wonder what they do for a living. But I've seen people defend it before. They say, oh, big companies don't have time to talk to us. Well, they have time to take our money, you know. And I think that people are accepting this these days, that these big companies can treat us like this and we just accept it. But they take our money. We're the customers, you know. And to say that they don't have time, or they're not going to give us time to talk to us, and they're not going to have enough staff. And most of these big companies, like, you know, Google and Facebook and all these big internet companies in particular are like this. They just don't employ enough staff to help us. You know, companies like YouTube that have down the bottom of the YouTube page here, there's FAQs, but there's also help centres. And a lot of these big companies now, the help centre is basically just a forum where the customers help each other. You know, I know there's another website that I've seen a few times that has a forum on it, and the forum's actually moderated by moderators, by volunteers. It's a company. It's a website. It's a privately owned website, profit-making website that has a forum, and the forum is moderated by volunteers. So in other words, that company actually has users doing unpaid work to run their forum. You know, and that's basically what YouTube and all the others do. If you look at that help centre, it's basically a forum where, interesting, I don't know why, I understand why people go there for help. I don't understand why people go on there to help people. It's very kind of them, but it's quite bizarre that people volunteer. Like, here's a company like YouTube that makes billions of dollars, and here's Joe Public sitting there at 1 o'clock in the morning on the YouTube forum answering people's questions for them. Volunteers. They're volunteering to work for free for a multi-billion-dollar company. And Google's the same. Google's got Help Center. Well, Google Help Center and YouTube Help Center is the same thing. So it's the same thing, where Google and YouTube and all the other companies, not just those guys, but all the other big companies as well, a lot of the other big companies as well do exactly the same thing. Microsoft and all these guys, they don't even bother to talk to us. They just ignore us. You know, and if you do get a response from them, it's a cut and paste FAQ. But the only sort of real help that's going on with a lot of these big companies is other customers, which is unbelievable. Imagine a business like a shop or a supermarket where you go in there to buy stuff and the customers have to help each other. Oh, sorry, we'll just take your money. Leave your money in the box over there and go and help each other pack your groceries and do all your bits and pieces with the groceries. We're not going to give you any staff to help you, you know. Or someone, how about a building company? There's a big pile of wood over there and a box of nails. Just give us the money for the house and then you can go ahead and build it for yourself. Get your neighbours to help you. Get our other customers to help you build your house. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And everybody accepts it, you know. So it's going to continue, of course, because we do accept it. And I think the other thing is that these guys just do the math. So they know, Facebook and Google and YouTube and Microsoft and all these guys know that they'll lose a certain percentage of customers will just get sick of it and say, no, screw this, and go somewhere else. And they know that will happen, but they know that it's just math. They say, okay, we'll lose 5% of our customers or 10% of our customers every 12 months because they'll be unhappy with our low level of customer support. But we also get another 20-25% every 12 months, so we're on the up. And the amount of money we save by not having a customer support centre, you know, they've just got 2 nerds in a back room instead of having 500 nerds, which is what they should have. They've just got 2, and they save all those wages, which means if they lose some customers, they're still ahead because they're saving all that money in wages. It's what it happens. It's the only reason that they do it. It's all money. and it's just a numbers thing, and that's all we are. Someone actually said in that last video in the comments about us just being another customer or just another number, and that's exactly what it is. They don't care. They just don't care because not enough of us are active. That's the problem. Too many people are prepared to take the shit from the big companies, and that's how they get away with it. If half the population wouldn't take shit from big companies and would go and use somebody else, then they'd have to change their attitude and they'd have to do something about it. And then we'd have to get emails that are actually written by somebody with a name at the bottom of it, because they'd know if they didn't do that, we wouldn't do business with them. But unfortunately, it's not the way it works. There's only a small percentage of people that will actually say, no, screw you, and go somewhere else. And most people couldn't be bothered. Most people just take it, you know. They just, oh, what can you do? Oh, what can you do? Oh, what can you do? You know, it's just the way it is, isn't it? So, yes, frustrating, and it's going to get worse. It's not going to improve. It's not like suddenly there's going to be a big turnaround and companies start going, hey, you know, we need to be more personal about this. On the last one, actually, we were talking about the names not signing emails, but how they still use name plates. You know, people still, the bank, when they send you an email, nobody puts a name at the end of the emails. The email's not signed. But when you go into the bank, the staff all still wear name tags, don't they, with their name, John Brown. But I was actually thinking about it after I made that video. It'll probably end up with a barcode, won't it? So the staff will have a barcode and the customers will just have a barcode, and we'll all just be numbers. We'll just be numbers and robots, and we'll come in and they'll scan our barcode and we'll scan their barcode and we'll exchange data and then we'll leave. And that'll be it. That'll be warm and fuzzy, won't it? So, yeah. Fuck the FAQ. More videos coming soon.